Hey, I am unprepared, but go.
Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy Podcast, a Washington football podcast by fans for fans. With your hosts, Jesse Martin.
You want to play what? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
John Taylor.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
And Keith Gray.
The King, your majesty.
And now here's your host, John Taylor.
Hey, that's me, and you got to hang on just a second because I am sending Keith a text that says, "Hey, Keith, did I send you a link?" Because who the fuck knows where he is anymore when this goddamn show starts? I'm John, and welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy Podcast. It is Victory Monday, fellas. How are you?
Great. You should do the opening a little bit different. And maybe Keith Gray.
Maybe Keith Gray.
And maybe Keith Gray might be on the show.
Idea. That's a good idea. I'll tell you what. Keith Gray will happen to tell you that if you put one of these in the microwave for about 3 seconds, just enough to warm it up, boy, he will tell you things to do with it that you don't want to know about. And I'm not going to go any deeper into that because I'm going to leave it up to my friend Jesse, who I guess you've gotten tired of having that fucking beard dipping down in your navel. I can actually see your neckline.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. He's got a neck.
Yeah, it was starting to tickle the nipple, so
Well,
I had to do something about it.
all right.
You
So
feel a little frisky in bed at night by myself.
well,
That's what man's.
Yeah. Got my manscaper.
Baby. That's right. This beard is making me feel hot and horny. Oh, honey bun, I'll tell you what. It's just not working for me. I'm sorry. I'm pretending to be Jesse tickling himself with his own goddamn beard. And this is just not working for me. All right. And speaking of strange fantasies, Scott Hartley. What do you think?
Good evening, gentlemen. How are we doing? You all right?
Yeah, I think we're just fine.
Good stuff. It's obviously that Victory Monday's doing wild things. So,
Well, you know what? It's
Monday.
Victory
It's been a
Monday.
hot minute since we've had a Victory Monday.
That's right.
Isn't it just? Isn't it just? Especially
Like-
against the Cowboys. Wow.
Like almost 2 months.
Well, all we needed to do was be eliminated, and then they'll turn it back on and do it right. But the fact of the matter is, it's not only Victory Monday, but it's Monday at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The day is over. We're all having a good time, and we're going to talk about a goddamn win over the Cowboys. What can be better than that, boys? I'll tell you. It's a possible answer to the "Where's our quarterback?" question. I'll start with you, Jesse. Go ahead.
Yeah. Look,
Yeah. Oh,
we've been here before, but I'm cautiously optimistic. I liked what I saw, going back to the preseason. We saw a lot of good things from Sam in the preseason, and we saw the same things here yesterday. And look, say what you want about Dallas, that's a good fucking team right there.
Yep.
And he stood strong in the pocket. The moment wasn't too big for him. And, the handful of plays that he was given, it seemed like he did very well. So, listen, I'm intrigued. I want to see more. I'm not yet ready to jump on the bandwagon saying, yes, he's our franchise quarterback, like a lot of these people are, I see on social media. But I do want to see more. So.
all right, Scott, what do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree. What we said on Friday's show was that we wanted to see the pocket presence. We wanted to see the fundamentals that worked. And I really wasn't bothered if he threw 3 interceptions and just got 100 yards. As long as you knew there was something there to work with going into the offseason, fantastic. And clearly there is something there to work with. I mean, let's not anoint him the king, and as Jesse said, he might not become our starting quarterback, but we have to think about the situation of what we've got going on in the front office, in the coaching staff, in the ownership change. And I would be quite happy rolling with Sam Howell now just to see where we go. Have a veteran come in, the type of a Jacoby Brissett, a Teddy Bridgewater, that sort of quarterback that he can learn from. But go with the kid, and then what's the worst that can happen now? We've been trying to answer this question for 25 years and it's never been answered. And what if it all falls apart, then okay, it falls apart. We know we don't have the guy. And then the new ownership can come in with a new regime and hopefully find the guy, which is the question that we've all been wanting in Washington as Washington supporters for, as I said, 25 years. I've never seen a franchise quarterback in my entire fandom. So I hope Sam Howell's the answer. He did play really, really well last night. I was really impressed with what what he put out there. It seemed that he played with no fear. What really also interested me a lot was how the players respond to him in the huddle. And he seemed to be able to command that and get people where they wanted to go. All round, though, it was a really, really good team performance as well, not just Sam Howell. And I think that helped with the complementary football that we played last night, helped him dramatically. I mean, starting from the 20, first pass is a touchdown. Where can you go from there? It's going to bleed confidence. I mean, we were talking throughout the game saying that's him off to a confident start now. And he threw we'll talk about it a bit later on, but he threw a mad interception. But rookies are going to make mistakes, and I'm quite happy to just hold off and say, okay, you go if that's what you need. Unless fine well that in the off season we can go out there and find someone who is fundamentally better, then that's fine. Just go with Sam Howell. I'm not all aboard the train, but I'm happy to take a trip on the train and see where we end up.
Train is a good word because I'm all in, baby.
Are you all
I'm all in. I saw things yesterday that I haven't seen in a quarterback in Washington in a long time, and I know that it's we like Jesse said, we've been down this road before, and it's a dirty highway, boys. Let me tell you.
Oh, it's dirty.
Yeah. Dirty. Anyway, the fact of the matter is there was things that I saw in his game yesterday that were very, very, very encouraging. And I say, why not roll the dice in 2023 with Sam Howell? Because as of right now, unless they re-sign Taylor Heineke, which I very much doubt, or Carson Wentz, which I very much doubt, he's our number one quarterback because there's nobody else under contract except for, I don't even know if Jake Fromm's under contract for next year. Look, I'll tell you what, I'm with you, Scott. I don't see why not. I'm not basing this all off of one performance. Oh my God, he's great. No, he wasn't great. He did throw a terrible interception, but you know what? It didn't bother him in the slightest. I didn't see even.
You remember what I texted you in our group chat? I said, let's see how he bounces back from that.
Yep,
I wasn't upset at it either, and the way he came back from that interception was very impressive.
It really was. The whole game, dude. That freaking bomb to Terry was gorgeous. Wow. 60 yards in the air.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you see the next gen stats there that I highlighted for you?
Yeah.
So Sam Howell's 52-yard completion to Terry McLaurin had an air distance of 60 yards, which is the longest completion by a Washington quarterback in next gen stats era.
There you go.
I don't know how long they've been around, but hey, it was the way he threw it. It was like Terry
fundamentally
had to speed up to get that ball.
And I'll tell you what, did he speed up? Man, he hit that gear. He hit that gear and ran away from that dude. This is the thing I kept noticing all game long. The poise. The poise is there. It's not too big for him. It's not too fast for him. He works that pocket. That's our offensive line out there, right? He got hit a couple of times. But by and large, he drifted the right ways. He went the right way. And when he throws that ball, he sets his feet properly. He pulls that ball up over the top and high. He looks like Johnny friggin' Unitas when he throws that ball. And I know I'm old, but Keith, you better know who that is. But he's not. He's not on the show. So
it was weird after in his post-match interviews, he was saying that the sacks were on him rather than the offensive line. And actually,
that's a leader.
I've seen, it is a leader. And I've seen some film footage today of the offensive line giving a push in the run game. I mean, pass pro, we can argue, but again, lots of players out there who are fringe starters who I was quite impressed with, and Howell especially, I was really impressed with. Does make me wonder now, could you have done this earlier?
I think so.
I mean, possibly, but listen, and this is what I've heard from people that cover this team on a regular basis. And you saw the condensed play calling last night with Sam Howell. They didn't give him too much, which is very, very smart of the coaching
Right.
staff. He did have throughout the year very trouble digesting the playbook, being able to call the plays, and that's one of the
goddamn thing.
That's one of the thing that, as you stated earlier, Scotty, how did he command the huddle? How did he get in and out of the huddle? That really, really impressed me. There was no delay of game calls, which is in my opinion very important for a
That
young,
is it is
quarterback. It's something that's overlooked, but it is extremely important. And they didn't give him too much, which is good. Even in the chat, I was like, I want to see all passes. I think it was in the fourth quarter, but I understood they were trying to protect him a little bit. Still a little bit weary about this offensive line going up against the Dallas defensive line. So I understood why they ran it so much.
Well, don't pass unless you have to. That's NFL wisdom.
Yeah, sure. But this is that game was to see Sam Howell, see what he brought. So that's why, and this just in my opinion, it's not the right, probably not the right opinion, but it's what I wanted to see. But the times that he did throw, John, you're right. He had poise in the pocket. Mm-hmm. He made the proper reads, and goddamn, he threw some fucking dimes, man.
Accuracy. Short, medium, and deep accuracy.
Do you know what
pass
made me
to
think
Jahan Dotson, that would have been freaking Jahan. He could have had it, but that was a dime too. The drop, Terry McLaurin, he dropped it was a third.
He probably was shocked at him in the hands.
Yeah. That was a beautiful pass. The way that he tucked the ball and ran, his scrambles, his read options, that he actually made the right read, as we saw all year long, where fucking Heineke would make the wrong read and actually give it to the running back instead of taking it like he was supposed to. Those are the little things that like, it was great. It was great to see.
I think you commented, Jesse, wasn't it? Sorry, John. I thought you commented there, Jesse, in the chat where we were having last night. You were saying this is what Heineke's supposed to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was a few times that I saw that, and you could clearly see as well why Sam Howell was regarded as a first-round talent. Coming out, if he'd have came out the year before, he would have gone in the first round. Sure. That's an absolute certainty, and you could see why people have talked about him like that. As I said, I'm not going to get fully on board the train right now, but if we do ride with him in the summer and he's our starting QB, then I've got no problem with that at all. I mean, this coaching staff has to try and do something to save their jobs, but we all know they're probably a lame duck into next season anyway. So, as I said, what's the worst that can happen? And as Commanders fans, we probably have to see what happens in the summer through free agency, and we have to probably prepare ourselves to think that Sam Howell is going to be the starter. And he's going to have his lumps. He's going to have his lumps. He's not going to have every game like that. He physically can't do that.
Everybody always says that the key and the way you do it, you draft one, you groom him, you let him sit for a year, you let him learn. Well, guess what? That's what happened. I've seen people, and Keith put up a tweet today about people bitching about that he's a fifth-year starter, using that or a fifth-year. Excuse me. He's a fifth round pick. Round pick. And that somehow means something. The only time that meant anything was the day of the draft, and that is it. He's a pro. He's been in the league for a year. The question now is, can he play? And it sure as hell looked to me like he can play. Did you notice the zip on the ball, you Heineke hivers? I don't mean to pick on you or anything like that, but that's what we've been talking about when we say zip on the ball. You see how fast it got there? How straight of a line that pass would go? No float on it. Nothing like that. When he's throwing intermediate, when he's throwing to the sticks, that thing gets there in a hurry. I love it.
So the fact of the matter is, hey Andy, how you doing, buddy? The fact of the matter is, they did it right with Sam Howell. He was not ready to come in this season. A lot of people are saying, "Well, why didn't they put him in the air?" I'm sorry. It's just, listen. They elected to try to, it wasn't the plan. They elected to groom him. And we sat here on this very podcast and after the draft and say, let this guy sit, let this guy digest the playbook and learn the NFL. And that's exactly what happened. When it was time for him to come in, he came in. Now, listen, like I said earlier, that playbook was very, very condensed. but what
Doesn't
he
matter.
did with it was
Right.
really, really good. Very
He hit,
encouraging.
right. He hit the pick was bad, but other than that, he was excellent. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Scott.
you know
happen.
Keith's tweet. You know Keith's tweet you were talking about there. I think you didn't. If you saw my reply, Bart Starr round 17, Roger Staubach round 10, Tom Brady round 6.
Yeah,
Joe
I'm tired of this.
Theismann,
I'm tired of this.
round 4.
You can
There
only
was a
find a
reason though
quarterback.
about Staubach.
That's,
all right?
it's just,
There was
I know.
Yeah, that is. He was because of the military.
He was going
But-
into the Navy and going
but-
to Vietnam. That's why.
listen, guys. This shit that you can only find a quarterback in the first 10 picks of the
yes,
draft.
yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing that. I'm tired
Right.
of fucking hearing that shit.
It
it's
doesn't
not-
make any difference.
It doesn't.
No.
If you get the right combination and you get a guy that can play. And I'll tell you what, I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying, oh, we have found our savior. He may stink next year, but at this point,
I do.
There's
this
an
is-
option.
You got to have a first play. You got to have a first game, and his first game was pretty damn good.
And
It
if
was pretty damn good.
and listen to this. If they elect to go this way, okay,
Mhm.
they could elect to build around Sam Howell.
Yes, they could.
They're in a perfect position to
Yes.
do that. No Carson Wentz on the payroll. You have the ability to pay Deron Payne. You have the ability to be able to build an offensive line to protect him, and that is key. If they want to build around Sam Howell, they're perfectly able to. They're in a perfect position to do that. You have all your skill positions players
Oh, yeah.
set. That's set. It was one of the best wide receiver groups in the entire NFL. I mean, they really are.
What did they
So-
say that he had not thrown to Terry McLaurin until this week?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
look, he's been
Dude,
running
he
scout
dropped
team,
that
learning,
thing in on
learning
a
the game.
dime. He
Yeah.
knows Terry's speed as if he was standing next to him the whole time he was running.
So if they choose to groom him all off season, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Right.
And
Well,
like
when you
you
get
said,
to-
Scotty, earlier, grab yourself a veteran backup, to help them along the way.
Exactly.
Whoever there's plenty of them out there. Jacoby Brissett,
Baker Mayfield.
Ian Baker. Well, I don't know about Baker Mayfield. He might be a little bit too young and want someone. Somebody a veteran, a cheap veteran.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Tyrod Taylor, any one of that mold.
something like that.
Yeah,
that
you
can
want
learn
somebody that's
from.
going to. No, Tyrod Taylor can't teach him anything.
But-
Tyrod
No,
Taylor
no,
doesn't
come
do
on,
anything.
man.
He can teach him how to go to the hospital. That's all he ever does.
He can teach him how to be a pro.
That's what I'm saying.
when
That's
you're a
what
pro,
I'm meaning.
you don't cry on the field. Let them put you in the ambulance, and they'll take you right over to the emergency room. Don't worry about
But
it.
if you
That's
decide
Tyrod
to go
Taylor's
that
lesson.
route, if
Poor
you
guy.
decide to go that route, you cannot have Taylor Heineke on
No.
this roster.
Not
Heineke's
a
getting
chance.
paid someplace else. That's
I
all there is
don't
to
know.
it.
He'll get
I think
paid
he
as a
will be.
quarterback too.
I mean, me and Scouse
never
had this
know.
discussion earlier, and there's been 67 starters in the NFL at quarterback this year, which is
Right.
unbelievable. 67.
It's not.
Now,
See, that's the thing. It's not unbelievable. You watch. I'll
well,
tell you. Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
think it was 45 the year before, so it's a lot more this year because of injuries and other bits and pieces that have gone on. People are on their third quarterback. We're on a third quarterback. The Dolphins are the same. The Cardinals are the same,
Mhm.
and so on and so on and so on ad nauseum. But when we look at that overall, Heineke's going to go away. You would say Heineke's in the top 30. I would have thought in any of that list. So he's
Top
going to go
30
somewhere and
quarterbacks?
get paid. Yeah, in the league.
Ooh.
I reckon he's in the top 30.
Maybe.
Because I mean,
He's
he's
a-
got
he's-
32 teams to start, so he's been a starter for us. So I think he could start somewhere else, and I think he's going to have quite a lot of suitors in the off season. So I think he'll either get paid high back end, high QB2 money somewhere else, or he may get a start somewhere else, but it won't be with us. And I agree completely with your point, Jesse. He cannot stay here because the minute that Sam Howell has a poor game, they're out again. Heineke. The chants start going, and it will just blow the guy's confidence completely. You either roll with him completely and say, hi, Jacoby Brissett, hi, Tyrod Taylor, that sort of person,
Right.
a hi, Sam Darnold, whoever it may be. You are here as the QB2. I want you to learn. You're going to be here for a year. We're going to pay you this amount of money. You're not going to go anywhere else because we know what your free agency is working out like. Let this guy learn and teach this guy how to be a pro, and then we're away and we roll with Sam.
And look, this isn't the only option, the only
it's
way
not.
to go. But it is an option, and
Right. It's a good starting place.
Yeah, there is. Listen, I was a fan of Sam Howell. I was a fan of him, us drafting him. I was shocked that we got him in the 5th round. By no means that I thought that he would have gone in the 1st round or anything like that. It's just no, but I think it could be something. It could be, but we've been here before, guys. Dwayne Haskins, the final 2 games of the season, we're like, oh, okay, because he played well. And you see where that turned out.
I get it. But you know what? The thing about Haskins was, even when he played well, his freaking footwork was terrible. His mechanics were awful. That's the thing that I thought about Sam Howell. See, to me, it's not the win. It's the poise. It's how he approached the game, how he approached his role in the game. I mean, things like it was an RPO, but the freaking Cowboys vacated that whole zone all the way up into the 1st down. He said, fuck it, and just took off and just basically walked to the sticks and laid down. Sure. So, those are the kinds of things that they didn't
what you
get
need in today's
head.
NFL too.
Yeah.
Someone to be able to just take it off and run. I was really impressed.
He scored. He fucking ran over.
Yeah. I was really impressed with it with him running too. That's another thing. And he's a little bit small, short. He's a stockier guy. He's a stockier guy.
Built like a running back.
But yeah, there's a lot to like, man. Like I said, I'm not going to get head over heels about him. I'm going to go back and probably watch that game probably 400 times this offseason. I saved it on the DVR.
You and me both.
I'll go to the all 22. I'll probably just do the all 22 because all you heard was them sucking off the Dallas Cowboys all game long.
Oh, it was terrible. That commentary team was absolutely woeful. I thought, Dak Prescott's this, Dak Prescott's that. Look at his stats. I was like,
Dak was terrible.
He was getting the shit kicked out of him.
9 for 30. Was it 10 for 30 at the
fucking
time?
Greg Olsen.
He was awful.
Greg Olsen is like listening to some fucking little guy. It's like listening to Leave It to the Beaver call a game. Gosh, Willikers, look at that Dak Prescott out there running around. Gee whiz, it's almost like he's just out there playing football like a couple of good old guys. He is so fucking goddamn mayonnaise. It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
The other thing I can't stand about him, and I'll tell you this, and this is something that gets in my craw, and it's an old guy thing, and I get fucking sick and tired of all the goddamn comb-overs that they make these stupid motherfuckers wear in the booth. Holy fucking shit, man. He's on camera for all of 30 seconds every fucking
Scotty's about to go hide.
You got to make him grow this thing all the way down to here and pull it up around in a freaking turd on top of his head so that we can pretend he's got hair. Oh, dude, you ain't even nothing compared to that shit. This guy's got practically.
I've got a 10 head. I've told you. The forehead's gone. It's a 10 head.
You know, I'll tell you something. When you got no hair left in your head, it's because something's been rubbing it off.
Yeah.
Pair of thighs around your head, whatever. But I ain't saying nothing more about that because Keith will freaking look at it and say, I'm going to get thrown out of the stadium for that. I can see that too.
Let's get off topic here for just a moment. Let's talk about.
I thought we were.
The fact that this could be Dan Snyder's. He wasn't there, but this could be the end of the Snyder era. And how are we feeling? I mean, it's the mood of the stadium from what I hear was great. I mean, even before the game, I think,
we've been beating the shit out of the Cowboys all day.
Well, even before the game, from what I hear, it was a very good vibe, and a lot of people, 100% expect Dan and Tana Snyder to be gone.
She was there. He was.
Yeah, she was there. Yep, she was there, John. And I've seen the media reports today saying that personal effects have been removed by both Dan and Tanya Snyder from the stadium and from their suite. So, yeah, interesting. I mean, what I really enjoyed was the waving goodbye to the Cowboys fans with about 4 minutes to go. That really made me laugh, made me smile.
Well, they were doing that also they were going, nah, 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 nah.
Yeah, that was.
To the Dan Snyder and Tanya Snyder's
were they?
Box. Yeah.
Wow.
Pointing up there.
Well, I got to tell you, Dan wasn't at the game and Tanya wasn't in her box.
Were you Jerry?
Jerry, what box were you in?
I don't want to say much more, but it rhymes with Flanya. Well, hell, I done told on myself again. See, that's the best thing about being a goddamn billionaire. You can say pretty much anything and do anything you goddamn well want, and you get away with it. Dan's problem was he tried to hide everything. You can't hide nothing. If you get caught in a goddamn Texas road stop bedroom with a couple of hookers, you just let them take a picture and put it in People magazine. You'll be fine. Trust me.
Thumbs up.
That's the way you got to live. As if you boneheads would ever know. What you want, sir?
Jerry, I've just got a quick question for you. What do you think going into the postseason then for your Dallas Cowboys with a $50 million turd at quarterback?
Well, I got to tell you something there, son. It's a good thing you bring up that there price tag that I got on Dak Prescott because we're having a big sale over at cowboysshop.com. I'm going to have to unload a bunch of whole number 4 jerseys because, goddamn it, I don't want to get stuck with a bunch of these because, man, this offseason is going to be tough. I'm going to have to tell him, look, son, if you want to stick around here, you're going to have to wash my car or something like that because get out there and get the barnacles off of my ship because I am paying you way too much money for the output that I'm getting on the football field. It's just pathetic.
So let's talk about that. Was Dak just that bad, or was Washington's backup defenders that good? Because it seemed like every Joe Schmo was making plays left and right, and
even
Dak
Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah, Dak was just I don't know. I mean, they had something to play for, and they just came out flat.
Well, all right, I'm going to tell you a secret. Up here in the world of billionaires, everything's negotiable, including how well my Cowboys are going to play. And if you want a bobber from Tanya Snyder, you're going to have to say I'm going to give up a couple of piss poor plays here and there and make it look good.
Oh shit, Jerry.
Well, I'll tell you,
Jerry,
something right now. It's a good thing you don't have that whining little bitch Keith on this show today because I get sick and tired of listening to that man tell me I'm saying all kinds of things. Listen, I'll tell you something here, Keith. If you had the kind of money I had, you'd be just as dirty as me.
Jerry, we appreciate your time there, buddy.
And I'll also say this. If you want to be just as dirty as me, meet me at the dock over there. I'll put my ship in and we'll go head for Barbados. Have ourselves some fun. Jerry out.
See you, Jerry.
Jesus Christ.
Missed him again, John.
I don't know what happened. I had to take a leak.
All right. So look, defensively, let's jump over to the defense side of the ball.
Okay.
I mean, they played lights out.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, no Cam Curl, no Jonathan Allen, no Jamin Davis. But it seems like, John Ridgeway, man, what a fucking signing, dude.
You called that one. You called that. You called that back in the draft. You called
did.
that.
And you know what's funny is he was a pickup by the Cowboys. So quite obviously he wanted to tell them, this is me. You know what I mean? Look at what you let go.
I thought he played well.
Got to go potty or whoever that was.
Mr. Potato Head. Yeah, I don't know how you pronounce his name.
He was good too, man. He was very disruptive.
You pronounce it Montez Sweat.
What's that?
You pronounce it Montez Sweat. Yeah, he was
no,
good.
It's got to go potty. Gotta go potty or something like that.
Go potty.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
He was good too, man. And Danny Johnson was making plays. Kaliki Hudson was making plays. Percy Butler, man, he was all over the damn place. They got high hopes for Percy Butler.
We got to, I'll tell you what, for all of the complaining that we heard for the last 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, ever since Sean passed away years about our safety room, they turned that thing around in a hurry, didn't they? With low round draft picks that have paid off.
Yeah.
I think we've got, as I said before, I think on a couple of these shows, I can be quite hopeful going into next season, knowing that we've got what looks like our safety tandem for the next 5, 10 years. In Cam Curl and Derek Forrest.
The safety trio. I mean, you take Cam Curl, Derek Forrest, and Percy Butler. I mean, look, man, these guys, they're becoming rock stars right before our eyes. Ever since Sean Taylor, passed, we have been dying for a good safety duo. And it looks like now that we not only have 2 of them, but 4 if you count Jeremy Reeves, because he makes
plays too out there.
He does play well too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that possibly we're going to say goodbye to Bobby McCain this offseason. And that's okay. No, he's he was probably one of the weaker links out there, but he did play well. I just don't think we're going to need him. I think we are going to go after a cornerback. I think that is definitely a need. But Fuller had a great season after those first few games. I mean, we were all over him.
How about that shit yesterday? He drops a pick that would have been a pick six because he trips. The turf monster gets him.
Yeah,
and then on the next play he grabs it and takes it in. The very next play. That was amazing.
I mean, the only thing with Kendall Fuller is I don't know what his contract situation is. I believe he's a free agent. He's been paid obviously quite a lot of money.
I think he might have one more year.
He might have. But I think
after this.
And I think if that's the case, we might have to look to try and restructure him a bit because
it could be. If that's the case, I'm sure that he will. I think he may have been restructured last year, if I remember correctly. I'm not 100% sure, but no, that's fine. I mean, we're going to need because Kendall is next year will probably be his last most likely, and he is getting a little bit older.
He's an $11.6 million cap hit. That's pretty big.
It's quite a lot.
Quite
one of the highest.
I would expect him possibly.
Well, one thing that I am a little bit worried about, I think St. Juice is a great player when he's on the field, but I'm worried about his physical toughness. But when he's healthy, I think he's great, and I think if we can pick up a second or third round a defensive back, groom him, because our first round has to be a offensive lineman.
It's got to play. And I want a left tackle.
If it falls that far, because now we're 16th in the pick. Peter Skoronski is what everyone's talking about and saying that's the best O-lineman out there in the draft. But I've seen a lot of these mock drafts, it's just talk. But a lot of them are picking Keely Ringo from Georgia Bulldogs to us, which would be a really, really good pickup at corner. And then
that's the case too. I mean, we're going to have to mix and match. So we're going to need at least 3 linemen. Chase Roulier, as good as he plays, but he's gone.
Field, man.
This is his last game, even though his last season in a Washington uniform. That should be well known by now, but I know it firsthand. He's gone. This is his
really.
So we're definitely going to be. He's not going to be in Washington no more. Just put it that way. Yeah.
Fair enough. And obviously the other center is a free agent as well in Tyler Larson.
Yeah,
I
listen,
pretty good.
Once again, he played okay too, but
you can't stay on the field. You can't stay on the field. Center is definitely a mid to late round.
Jesus, this
priority.
69 fucking private girl dating. John, this has got to be you.
I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know. Keith isn't here. That might be him. He might be out making himself some extra bucks. With his
side job.
Got things going on there. It's 69 XXX fun. Oh, I see. I went ahead and gave him a promo.
We'll definitely dive in that.
In the whole offseason.
But I was impressed with the defense. I was impressed with the young guys, how they played. And Daron Payne is a fucking animal, as we know.
You got to re-sign him. Yeah.
You got to re-sign him. And that's why I'm thinking, we're not going to be able to pull in a Brady, a Rodgers, or a Carr if we want to re-sign a Daron Payne. So I'm thinking that they very well may go the Hal route. Let's see what this kid's got and see if we can build from there.
So I think the tag is just over.
I want them to.
It's 18.
I think the tag is
18
point. Yes, 18.5, 18.9 mil, something like that. And I'm looking at the top defensive tackle average rankings here and what their salaries are. So Donald's on 31 mil, DeForest Buckner 21, Chris Jones 20. Then it's John Allen on 18, Vita Vea 17 and a half.
So
are you looking? What are you looking to pay?
I'm sure they're going to franchise
if Aaron Donald retires, that takes the freaking biggest number by far off the board when you're talking top 5 average salaries. Because good grief, he's $10 million higher than the next guy. So that blows the whole thing. And as far as I'm concerned,
it's a deal though. Do you think it's a deal like John Allen's 18 million?
It would be more. It would be more actually.
It'll be slightly more for cost of living upgrade.
Around 2021.
A dozen eggs is $9.
And I'm okay with that because the defensive line, they're going up and up and up.
They are,
and it's
you
not
can
just
see
the
why.
defensive tackle. The defensive line, they do it. The entire defensive line that includes the edge rushers.
It's the only way
Oh,
you can
does it?
legally affect the
Wow.
passing game is to go in there and get the quarterback. Really, but seriously, I think that the cap itself is malleable. All right, once again, we're expecting it to go quite way up.
Yeah.
But it's a stroke of the pen can change things in a heartbeat, and teams move things around all the damn time.
Sure.
And we've seen all the lessons in the past with Bug-Eye Vinny and his stupid freaking cap management, where we always constantly had to pay the penalty because you move too much of it down the line. But look, you gotta play the game a little bit. We have been very conservative with our money. Well, this is what we're saving it for, right? And like you said, Scotty, he's elite. He is elite. What is he?
He's elite.
By the way, Start official Breaking Burgundy or Bleeding Burgundy podcast official out there in the Far East. He is our correspondent from Japan. Thank you for
in. Listen, I will tell you something about Curtis Samuel. They would do well to restructure his deal and sign him to an extension, because I think he is an important piece to this wide receiver trio. Yeah, he's making some bucks.
Did he
but
get a target
I think
yesterday?
Not
one,
sure.
I don't
one,
think
I
he
think.
did.
I think he got one target. Yeah. No, that one was going to Cam Sims, that one in the end zone. Yeah. No, I don't know if he did or not. But listen, I think Curtis Samuel will do well to stay on this team. I think it would be good for this team. Maybe just mix he could very well just restructure that contract, because he's only got 1 more year left on his deal, and I think it's around $10 million a year. So maybe break it down to like $6 or $7 million, extend him for 2 more years, something like that.
Well, see, now this is going to factor into the decisions, because right now, let's just pretend for a minute that they say, okay, we're going to go with Sam Howell. We have a 5th round pick starting quarterback. We're paying him what, like $300,000 a year?
For the next 800,000. Yeah,
800,000. Then next year it's 9.
By the way,
then it's $1 million.
For Yam,
there'll be plenty of money to go around.
I think so.
Plenty of money to go around. Plenty
Plus,
of money
the
to
other
fill
thing-
in that offensive line.
Yes.
Probably going to need to get probably 2 free agents
guards,
on that offensive
tackle,
line,
and
then
draft pick.
You got to
That's
draft
gotta start.
one.
That has to start.
You need to figure something at cornerback. You need to figure something at linebacker. I don't think you're going to see Cole Holcomb back. So there's things that need to be done, but there's going to be money to do it.
Well,
So I saw a thing earlier about cap, and it was Street Scores Rico on YouTube. If you watch him, he's really good Washington YouTuber, and he was breaking it all down. They reckon the cap's going to go up to 226 million. It's now currently at 201. So it's another 25 million increase. And I think that's because they've sold the rights to YouTube for the what we call Game Pass. I don't know what you guys have, NFL Plus and the Sunday Ticket. Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
They've sold that to YouTube. So there's money there coming in. And if we obviously cut Carson Wentz as well, which we're likely to do, we'd have an excess of 55 million in cap.
Oh yeah,
So
we've
that's a lot
got
to play
positions to play with, and we've got money to do it with. You're right, 100%. They just have to be able to be bold to do it. Ron has been cheap, and I don't want him. Okay, what are you saving your money for? This is what I keep wondering. This is what you're saving your money for, with Deron Payne especially, with Cam Curl especially. You have top level players there at their positions. You cannot let them just walk away.
And I think that was a reason why he was kind of being a little bit stingy, because that money can roll over till the next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there wasn't a whole lot of capital left. But you have Montez Sweat, you have Deron Payne, you have Cam Curl, you have possibly Cole
Chase
Holcomb,
Young in a year and a half.
Chase Young,
2 years.
So I don't mind them being a little bit stingy now, but you're going to need to spend that money sometime, and the time is starting to come.
This is what you built.
Yeah. So I kind of understand why they just didn't blam, just take all their money. I totally get it, and I'm fine with it. Maybe not everybody knows, why. I know we saw this. Why don't they go get this person? Why don't they get this person? They have money in the cap. There's a reason.
These guys figured it's like Madden. You just click on the button.
You can't do that. You're gonna want.
I love being a couch GM.
You want to keep most of this defense that they've built. I mean, there's a few pieces.
This was the identity. They built it for four first round picks in a row.
Yes,
Right?
and they're gonna you're gonna want, no matter who the coach is in a couple of years, you're gonna want to keep this try to keep this
Right.
nucleus intact
Right.
as much as you probably. You're not going to be able to keep everybody. We know that.
No.
Just understand it's the NFL. Not everybody's going to want to resign. A la Brandon Sheriff. Yes, they offered him a high dollar contract to be the richest guard ever in the NFL. He turned it down. But the fact of the matter is, they foresaw that, this is what's going to happen, especially when you draft 4 freaking first round picks in a row. Money's going to be an issue coming up, so you got to be smart.
There you go. Sorry, you're going too fast there. I don't want you to stroke out on us.
Jesus Christ!
Listen to Shamu and take it easy.
Game balls.
Yep.
All right. Well, why don't we do some butt pats and hits?
Yeah.
All right, we'll start with you, Scott, since we've been sitting here patiently listening to Jesse have himself a very nice day. I got to say that whatever kind of things they gave him for his heart medicine, they're making him mellow out and beat. Look at him, he's smiling and everything. Jeez. All right, so, Scotty, who's your first offensive?
We beat the Cowboys. That's enough.
Yes,
Offensive. I'm going to go with Wes Schweitzer, our highest graded person on PFF, and I actually thought he had a really good game. Every snap this week was bang on. As well, which was brilliant.
That's right.
I don't know whether he's just got used to being at center now, and he just every snap worked. You saw him in the run game pushing the pile forward. He had a really good game for me.
Speaking of Wes, and this is forgotten, he is much better as a guard.
Yeah, I love him as guard. He's a beast.
And look, he could if they find a real starting center next year. He can move one way or the other and be our starting guard. So think about that too.
Well, Cosme got abused again at tackle, so they're probably going to move him into guard. I wouldn't mind seeing Schweitzer as our left guard. I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. That's a good call right there, Scott. How did you guys think about Chris Paul? What did you think about him?
I liked him overall. I think there was some running plays where they still didn't get any push whatsoever, and Patterson was getting thrown around like a fucking rag dog at times. But I think towards the end of the game, they did run the ball better, and they got a lot more push. I liked what I saw from Chris.
I thought they ran the ball rather well in the first half with Patterson. But you're right. Once he gets hit, he's down because he doesn't have any pop to him. You know what I'm saying?
And it doesn't help with the offensive line too, man.
When somebody gets a clean shot on him, he's down.
And that's been a problem all year round. They haven't really, and that's what I was talking to you guys yesterday with Robinson. He powers and helps and pushes that offensive line forward.
He stays up so they can get over there and help hit it.
A guy like Patterson, he just doesn't have the oomph to freaking do that shit. He's just too small.
You got to remember as well, this is one of the best defenses in the NFL we were playing against as well last night. So it's quite difficult going in for your first start as well as Chris Paul. I thought he was quite poor in the pass play, but he looked okay in running. How
many sacks did Hal take?
3.
3? That's not terrible.
None of them
3, and he got hit 6 times. 6 hits.
I thought that Jarrett Patterson, I like his style, man, because his feet never stop fucking moving. He's always constantly moving. I said it yesterday during the game. He's like a live wire, man. You touch it, it's gonna freaking zip you. That's how he's gonna hit you.
You get him a good offensive line, I think he can do some damage.
He finds tiny little creases, man. He gets through them. He had a couple of nice runs yesterday.
Once Patterson can get to the second level, I think it could be over, man. He's one of those
he
ones
can
that
break
can
away,
break long, and I think he would be great.
So Jesse, who's your offensive first butt pat of the day?
My offense, I'm going to give it to Sam Howell. I mean, for a guy that a 5th round pick, his first real NFL experience, I think he did great. I think this week he prepared well. He developed a rapport with the receivers in a short amount of time, and his footwork was good. His vision was good. He knew when to run. And he had a mistake, but fuck, man, he's a rookie.
Yeah. And it didn't bother him in the slightest. I mean, all right, man.
He's a huddle well. I mean, you couldn't, ask for much more from a kid coming out the first time. Put it to you that way.
And if you think about it, Jesse, you're typically saying you want 225, a couple of touchdowns as a standard quarterback rating. He'd have had that bar the drops.
Dude, 168 is fucking 500 yards for Scott Turner.
You know, you're right. He would have had probably about 225 yards if let's see, the drop. Terry dropped one
Terry
that would have probably went another 15 yards. Jahan Dotson dropped a long one. And listen, he wasn't asked to throw the ball a whole bunch. He threw?
What, do you have 11 throws?
Times? Yeah, 11 for 19.
11, 19.
So yeah, I mean, he did great.
That's fine.
He did great.
Look at Daniel Jones, right? If that's what it takes to win nowadays, that's what you do. And that's the one thing I'll say good about Scott Turner is he did call a pretty good game yesterday.
Yeah,
because I even though he did protect him with a limited playbook, he didn't protect him with concepts that weren't challenging. We had a lot of behind the line motion at the snap. There was a couple of times I thought, fuck. But the mix, he got the mixes right. They didn't step on him. Nobody, he didn't have any problems like that.
I think I saw two plays. There was a little bit of confusion, and that was one of the sacks that he took. I don't know if you guys remember. I think he got confused. He didn't know if he should have handed the ball off, but then he kind of just froze up a little bit, and so. But that was the only real and obviously the interception. The only two mistakes I saw the kid have.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I was just very impressed with the way he played. I'm going to go ahead and give my butt pat for offense to Terry McLaurin yet again, because hang on a minute, I'm trying to get rid of this so I can get back over here to get the butt pat up there. There we go. Attaboy. Oh, and I'll tell you what, I've probably given Terry a big red smack on his ass. He's got a cherry on his ass from how many times I've given him this year. But he played well. He was able to get open, and he was able to make contested catches for him. Hiya, Birdie. And I thought the first down that Hal threw for, which he hit Terry on that little in and out, and then he hit him so perfectly. Right after that, as soon as that pass hit Terry's hands and he got that first down, I think he really decided right then and there that this kid can throw it to me. And the thing that really impressed me more than anything was that fucking sixth gear he hit when that ball went in the air on that bomb. Holy shit, he turned it on. We haven't seen that thing. Not yet. Not from him. He hasn't been able to do it.
Like Yam said, man, it's really nice to see
in stride.
You hit your receivers in stride, man. It really is. So kudos for him. He's got an arm. Like the kid, impress.
Yeah, what they say is, he can really spin it, right? So the turn of the ball gives it accuracy and gives it velocity, and he really does. And you can tell with that way over the top motion, the way he brings it right over the top. I said it looks like Johnny Unitas. You look at Johnny Unitas, he has the classic fucking pose to throw a football. You want to teach anybody how to throw a football, watch Johnny Unitas. And I know he's old, he's dead now, but that's how you learn. Look at old dead people. He's
a Cowboys fan, Sam Howell, as well.
Is he really? Well, fucking.
Yeah, he said at the podium afterwards that his dad's him and his dad, he grew up rooting for them, and his dad's a lifelong Cowboys fan. So he said
obviously
in a way, it was nice to get the win against them. So I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Offensive head smacks, and guys, I'm going to give one to Terry actually for dropping that ball. Dude, Terry had a great game as always, but that's that. Just for dropping that ball, that was a first down. That was a great pass, and it was shocking just to see. When Terry drops the ball, I think he's had like 3 all year. It's pretty shocking when Terry drops the ball. So that's my head smack.
All right, Scotty, go ahead.
Logan Thomas, didn't really see much of him again. I don't know if it was because he wasn't targeted much, but again,
he was targeted a couple times, but he had like 2 catches. But
I feel that Logan over the last few weeks he's been quite critical of Scott Turner. He's come out and said so. It's almost as if he doesn't really want to be here. Yeah, it's almost as if he doesn't want to be here, which maybe a coaching change might do the world of good for him. We don't know, but he's not played well.
He's running up on contract. He's been hurt. And no, the tight ends as a whole have been kind of ignored as a receiver
They've
group
been
this year.
disappointing.
And frankly, they've been having to stay back and protect so much that
That's
they
true.
probably haven't had much of a chance to do anything. I would say that the only head smack that I can think of that I would give the offense, because it really is difficult to give it to the offense, is Joey Sly. I know it's special teams.
Yeah.
I
No,
know,
you're right.
I cheated on this one. I'm cheating, and I took Joey Sly. But dude, 8 points you left out there. 8 points. That's 34 points. That's more points than we have scored.
Was it 7
points?
Was it 7 he left out?
Yeah, 7
I thought it was
extra
8.
point. Extra point.
Two field goals, 2 missed field goals, and an extra point.
Okay, so 7.
So I'm
listen, I've been a Joey Sly fan.
My math. Fuck all this.
I've been a Joey Sly fan, but yeah, we might need to get another kicker in the offseason.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know if
at least some competition.
He's got a booming leg.
He does,
like
but
his kickoff.
really, it was just a bad game. I'm going to say that it's just a bad. He's had. You can't expect the kicker to be 100%, right? Even Justin Tucker this year's gotten 2 of them blocked. He missed a couple, and I got to say,
3 in one game.
Every time Justin Tucker has something fucking bad happen to him, I go.
Especially when it's your last game and you know you're a free agent as well, Jesse. That does not bode well. You know what I mean? If you're playing for your job, I know he's a Virginia Tech hokey guy, but. Yeah, was it Brian? Was it
Brian
Johnson? Was he the other kicker we had last season?
Shut up.
Stop but it. I mean, he started missing.
We're not letting Ron pick another kicker.
No, I'm okay. I'd be fine either way. To be honest with you, I'm okay if Sly comes back. I'll be all right with it. If they decide to bring some competition in, I'll be all right with that too.
Bring some competition in. You know how I said it. Well, there's a whole guy that we just watched the World Cup. Scott, now we have some international flavor on the show. I'm going to say it right now. There is a whole fucking planet full of people out there that can kick a ball. All right. They do it for fun all around the world. Okay. We just watched the World Cup full of it. You can tell me you can't find a field goal kicker. I tell you, shut the fuck up. Drift me in a goddamn busload full of Luises and fucking Heinrichs and all the goddamn all the Lachlins you want. And I guarantee you'll find me a kicker.
Harry Kane, England's top goal scorer of all time.
Bring me in some Harrys.
He wants to play. He wants to be a kicker. That's what he said when he finishes football, as in soccer.
He
wants to be a kicker.
Well, there you go. He wants to go from being a gigantic star as a soccer player to being a fucking lowly kicker here in the NFL.
They tried him out at one of the NFL international shows. They did a promo series. I think it was the Patriots were out here. And they said, "Oh, how far can you kick it from?" And he was walloping him in from 60 yards. I was like, "Okay."
With pressure? Well, see, that's the thing.
No, obviously not pressure. No,
but you look at these goalies kick the ball from. They set it down and kick it, and that son of a bitch goes fucking 70, 80 yards. So yeah. I hate it when people. We went through this with Dustin Hopkins, and I can't stand it when people tell me, "But who are you gonna get?" Look, man. Like I said,
there's kickers galore.
You drive down to fucking Home Depot, and everybody that says, "See," when you say, "I'm looking," you want a job. And everybody says, "See," you put them in the back of the truck, you drive them over there, and I guarantee you find a kicker. I know that's a horrible thing to say. We're going to get canceled tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right.
But I bet you find a kicker.
But Pats defensively, I'll go first. Yeah. Let me go first. I'm going to give it to Percy Butler. Big game from Percy Butler. I like what I see. In the beginning of the year, he's had some different. He had some miscues in the beginning of the season, but he really showed out. I know the coaching staff likes him. He was, I think, from Louisiana Tech. Pretty good football player for his college. I'm intrigued to see more. He had a hell of a game yesterday.
I think that he needs to tone down his post whistle. He needs to get up and get away because he almost got flagged yesterday. Had to pull him away. Yeah, I think he got flagged a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I love the intensity. I love it. And frankly, if it's me, dude, I love it when Terry scores and he turns around and gives that dude that stare for a second before he turns around and walks away.
That's fine, but if you're
you got to be careful, especially if you're
doing stupid shit in people's faces. I mean, come the fuck on, man. You know that's not allowed. I mean, what the fuck are you thinking?
Well, that's the thing. I get it. You get into the intensity of the moment, and football it's got a lot of machismo attached to it, man. There's a lot of man on man. strength on strength. I'm bigger, better, badder than you. So I can understand how it can happen in the heat of the moment, but you got to be bigger than that. You got to be smarter than that, because what Jesse says is right. So you kids listen, what Jesse says is correct.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that. So yeah,
Can't do it.
I want to see him tone that down a little bit. But yeah, he did have a good game yesterday. Scotty, who's your defensive butt pat of the day?
I'm going to go John Ridgway, and I hope he's not injured too badly. He came off, obviously, mid-third quarter, I think. On defense, one of our highest rated, again, from PFF. So, yeah, fantastic game from him. Looks like a really, really good pickup to get him on waivers. I hope he stays. I really hope he stays.
If something happened and we did not retain Daron Payne, if a travesty happens and we did not retain him, we still have Ridgway and we still have Mathis.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, that doesn't totally take the blow away, but it softens it just a little bit.
And you know what I think? Mathis was drafted to replace him anyway. That was going to be the move. But then fucking Payne played to an all-pro level this year, I think.
He did.
He did. All right, my defensive butt pat of the day is going to go to Derek Forrest, who I think probably gets my season-long defensive butt pat. That dude has come on like gangbusters. He had a good game yesterday. And, not only is he shoots in there like a missile, but he tackles with such sound fundamentals, man. He takes a guy down. He doesn't just go in there for the shoulder hit, which we've seen in the past with our stupid safeties. Go in there, try to just knock somebody down with the shoulder.
Put their head down and just go in blind and just totally whiff. And
I have really liked the tackling on this team on this defense for the last, I'd say, 8 to 10 games. It's really gotten good. They really wrap up. They've got good fundamental sound tackling, and I like that. And I think Derek Forrest played a very good game yesterday. So, attaboy.
I got to give another one to Kaliki.
Yeah, I've got a few more.
Kaliki Hudson.
He played very, very well yesterday. And, when we drafted him, he was really small. He played that Viper role at Michigan, and they didn't really know what to do with him. But he's bulked up through the past couple of years, and he really had a nose for the football yesterday. So I think he deserves a butt pat for sure.
I've got 2. I'll let John probably. John, do you want to go first? Because I think we're all going to probably say.
Go ahead. You go ahead, sir.
You go.
No, please. I'm going to outpolite.
Oh no, you.
All right.
Please go, please.
Kendall Fuller. You've got to give Kendall Fuller his props.
You do.
If that was who you were going with, then that's
no, it's not.
I'm going to go with the 4th highest rated player yesterday on the defense, which you wouldn't believe. And I thought he had probably his best game in a Washington jersey. David Mayo.
Sure.
David Mayo. He was around the ball quite a bit yesterday.
Yeah.
He was.
And he stepped up. And I don't know how, because normally he runs in treacle.
You hit the wrong button. That's the David Mayo button.
The most impressive thing, of the whole game is on the defensive side of the ball is who they were going up against. This was a high-powered offense, man, that put up I think the second highest volume of yards and the highest total of points. And they held them to 6 points. So yeah, man, everybody gets a damn butt pat.
Zeke was out there, Pollard was out there, Dak was out there,
they were getting pummeled. They were getting pummeled,
which brings me to my second butt pat or the defense. Danny Johnson. That dude was on like glue, man. That dude, I'll tell you what.
I think he had 3 pass breakups, I think.
And he always does. Whenever they decide that they're going to press, he can play press man. And I love press man, man. I think for me, you want to show me how big your brass ones are? Get up there like Lester Hayes. And I know you don't know who he is, but go ahead and Google him up. Lester Hayes would get up there and get right on the dude. I mean, as close to him as he could get. And you couldn't get away from him. And I love how Danny Johnson does that. He's breaking up passes. He's all over the receiver when the ball comes in. You rarely see him trying to make up and catch up. He's right there. He reads very well. He plays them sticky. And I'll tell you what, as far as I'm concerned, I know they cut him because he had that dreadful 4th preseason game where he just looked absolutely terrible. He made unbelievable mistakes. And I heard it. I don't want to say from where, but it was from Andy Burrows that he was drinking all day long with a bunch of British guys before he got in play in that game. So that's the excuse I'm going to go with. because you saw what he can do. You saw what he can do, and
Yeah.
I've liked him all the time. It's always been
He's
one of those
played
things
well
where
in spots. Yeah.
yeah, that's the thing. It's spotty. He'd make a mistake, but man, I'll tell you what, the last couple of weeks that he's been in there, top notch, top flight. And I really want to give him a nice butt pat. Attaboy. For Danny Johnson.
All right, head smacks.
Head smacks. Defensive head smacks. Who you
I'll
got?
start. Benjamin St. Juice. I'm just saying it because I ain't got nobody that played on the team yesterday. But
Yeah.
just for being a pussy.
Yeah. It's a queef.
But yeah, no, I don't have I don't have any
French.
St. Juice had a queef there.
Sacre bleu.
No, I don't think anybody deserves one, to be honest with you.
No,
Is
they
he
don't.
French or is he French Canadian?
Yes, he is
Yeah.
French Canadian. He is.
Oh, well, he's not really French then, is he? Yeah, anyway.
Well, no, he's fake.
He's just
phony-
extra
phony
pussy
French.
then.
Pretend French.
He's good
Pretend
Fucking
Canadian.
garlic eating surrender monkeys. Fuck off.
Jesus Christ. Really?
Sorry, I hate the French, mate. No offense. Just our arch enemy.
It's your neighbor.
Yeah, it's our neighbor. Yeah.
All right. Well,
I need the whale music.
Meet thy
You're right,
neighbor.
John.
get the whales on. All right. Focus on my voice, Scott. All right. So I'm not going to give a single head smack to the defense.
No,
when you can hold the
I don't.
Cowboys 6 points, I'm not going to. And honestly, the only way they gave up points was they went very soft at the end of the first half and let them just drive down the field. I don't know why they did that.
I thought about giving a head smack to that too. They left the middle of the field open, pretty much.
That's
that
the
whole
only thing I
entire
can think of.
drive. And then after that, they tightened back up and gave them nothing.
They gave them
listen,
nothing.
the Cowboys went. They had 10. Count them. 10 3 and outs. That's unheard
1,
of.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
10
7,
3
8,
and outs.
9, 10.
That just doesn't happen, man. That
10
just
3 and
does
outs is
not
ridiculous.
happen.
Happened
It just shows
yesterday.
you how poor Prescott was yesterday, and I am going to laugh my arse off.
It wasn't
when
just Prescott.
they're
It was
going to get hammered next week.
the whole damn offensive line, they couldn't block. I mean, they had all the penetration in the world. The defensive line did. Oh, I'll talk about penetration, and now Jerry comes back on.
Jerry's on. Yeah.
The answer's 10. What do I win? I get tickets
You've got
to something.
You've got a promo code for a Tom Brady jersey
Hey, listen, let me tell you something.
because that's all
This
you're
is
going to get.
this
next
is a
week.
one-time special, thanks to my valet Thomas. Thomas went ahead and did some dusting up for me. What he found is something quite valuable. And if you go on to cowboyshop.com and you type in the promo code Tanya, I'm going to send you a thong that I found on the floor of my stateroom.
Jesus, Jerry.
Jesus.
Jerry out. I don't want to say anything, but it smelled like a British citizen.
We do love fish and chips here, John. That's for sure.
Hey, it was just she was wrapped up in newspaper. Hey, anyway, let's see here. What are we doing here? We're doing defensive head smacks. We're done with that. I'm going to go ahead and give a gigantic butt pat to the fucking special teams. Holy shit!
Yeah,
except for you,
100%,
Joey
man.
Sly. Except for you. But dude, when the ball drops right into your hands, catch it. Right when the fucking ball is bounced off of what's his name, the kicker, the punt returner for the Cowboys, right into your hands.
Yeah.
He's a Pro Bowler. He's a Pro Bowl returner.
Yeah, I know. He
Yeah.
looked nervous. They looked real bad in the first quarter. Their special teams
What
looked
a
like they.
tackle from De'Ami Brown as well as a gunner.
Oh yeah, that was a
Yeah,
great
that was a
tackle. That was
serious
a great
hit.
tackle.
Troy
that was
Apke made
great.
a tackle.
Did you see that on Malign's 16-yard run? And hey,
Malign?
give not Malign, Milne. His
Malign. Okay, I got it.
his
Well, he's maligned, yeah, very much so.
very very much. We shouldn't see him back next year. Just saying.
God, no.
But when he broke off on that, the run of his career, that dude that tried to tackle him, that was like 4 feet off, do the fucking scorpion. It is. So funny.
He went for the full biff to tackle to smash him, and he just went whoop, juked him out with his socks.
His feet were coming over
Brilliant.
his head that way. It was the funniest thing I've seen all night.
Well, I'll tell
But,
you, Dax Milne one day is going to sit down with his grandkids and he's going to say, I was in the NFL and one time I caught a punt and I ran 36 feet.
Honestly, the guy's got concrete in his shoes. I'm sure.
It's so,
Well,
it's
he-
so
he
bad.
He
to watch.
tries. He tries. He swivels around and makes it look like hot diggity. Here I go. When he got that 11-yard run yesterday, I was like, "Damn, where the hell?" did
He
that come
runs
from?
like 30 yards, but gets 2.
I called him the Vanilla
You're
Barry
right, yeah.
Sanders yesterday.
It's just it's so tiring to see.
frustrating, isn't it?
It's tiring, is right, because I'm like,
fucking run straight. That's all.
But
you
don't
gotta
worry,
do.
boys.
And then,
DeAndre Carter's a free agent, so
and then he fair catches balls that like he's got 15 yards ahead of him. Like, what are you doing, man? What the fuck are you doing?
pay attention to
do you
the
think they just put him back there because they know he's a safe option? He can catch
Yes.
the ball and he
Yes.
can fair catch.
Well, honestly, a lot when you look at the NFL, your top punt returners average about 12, 13, 14 yards a carry, per return. That's a good goddamn punt returner. So Milne is right around 9 to 10 yards, which is not terrible. He's almost in the top half of the league, I think. If I'm going to go check it again.
He's fucking
It's not
terrible.
I know. He doesn't. There's no danger of him breaking anything. If he
Yeah.
gets into the open field,
no chance.
his hips are going to start swiveling. Like you see those guys that are spinning plates on those
Suit
old
Beamich back up again. Jesus, I mean,
whatever they're going
he
to
could
do.
probably go further.
Whatever they are going to do, I think that your next
Cheers, John.
your next fifth string wide receiver. Put Diami Brown back there. That dude's got
There you go. He's got wheels.
he's got wheels.
All right, we're past
All right.
the hour mark, fellas.
We are.
We
So, all right. So I guess that's it for the season. So we don't have anything to talk about on Friday. So we will see you guys. Maybe what we should do is move our pick show to Friday.
Yeah, I'm
could
good
do
with that. Yeah, I'm good with that.
We only got playoff games now. Yeah.
We've only got a few games left.
Yeah,
so-
we got let's see, they're doing playoff game Saturday, Sunday, and a Monday night playoff game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah. So, all right. I think that's a good idea. So we will see you on Friday with some semblance of at least the three of us and perhaps international sensation, Keith Gray.
We'll get back with the schedule of the off season. Of course, we're not going to come to you 2 times a week. We're going to kind of spread this out because there just isn't that much to talk about.
Not only that,
I
but
think
I
there
do
will
like
be.
to
I
have
think it'll be
sex
a
every
busy
once in a while,
off-season.
and my wife will give me more if I'm not on this podcast 3 nights a week.
Oh, come on, Jesse. Thanks for joining us for this entire season. We really appreciate it.
That's what I thought about this season.
I can smell that from here.
That was a
Oh,
freshman.
shit.
Tell you what, he's been holding that one for a while. Holy shit. I'm laughing pretty good. And I'll tell you something.
I've been
I don't
ripping them
give a
all
shit.
day long.
I don't care how old anybody gets. If that
Parts
doesn't
are always
float you-
funny.
That's right. If that doesn't float your boat, you got to go listen to Kyle or whatever on his podcast. He'd never bother. All right, I think that should do it.
We'll see y'all next week.